YouTube, I tried to set this Gamo whisper in the other day, and the wind was blowing, and it was blowing these 177 pellets all over the place. But we got a little bit of wind day here, but I'm gonna try to set it while there ain't too much wind. And so far it's been doing the best with the pointed pellets today. The other day when that wind was blowing so hard, I could get the heavier pellets to group better. But today these pointed pellets seem like they want to do better, so I tried to get it close with some of these here crossmans. I'm gonna see how close we got it. Maybe it's close enough to take a squirrel or something. Ah, that one was low. Got to do a little better than that. But I try to do 5 shots and see if some of these shots ain't grouping close together. Because a lot of time you can have at least one flyer out of 5 shots. This pellet chin went in there kind of easy, so. That a little bit high. That didn't look good. But it seemed to be straight on line, but it could be me going a little high or a little low. One of them pellets was loose a while ago. Some of them loose pellets, I noticed that they don't fly quite correct like they should. I think that one may have hit a little bit low too, I'm not sure. Oh, that one hit pretty good in the bullseye there. Do one more. It looked like it's close enough to take a quail or rabbit, or this one's 26 yards what I'm shooting at. Well, we'll walk down there and check it out. That is what I'm shooting from. Got my thing. We can walk down here and check it out. But if the wind's blowing, them 177 pellets, they hard to get them. They'll shoot all around the target. I don't like that spread, but I guess I'm gonna have to deal with it. It's got 3 of them. It's pretty much close. I ain't sure what might have happened on there, but let's put 2 in the same hole right there. I shot what, 6 times? I'm gonna leave it at that, and for right now that's close enough for me for right now. I went ahead and did out 10 shots on it, YouTube. I didn't like these 2 shots at the bottom down here. Well, 3 shots, because 2 of them went through that same hole. But it put the rest up here. That's not too bad. But that's an old scope that's on there. I can't turn the power up on it, because if I turn the power up, the vibration off of that break barrel pellet gun will it'll cause the power to turn down itself because it vibrates so bad. I'm gonna talk a little bit about that. And the rifle, I ain't quite had it a year. I think I got it in February last year, but I'll bring you an update on it because I know probably some young people wanting to get some for Christmas and stuff. And I tell what I found out about this one since I've had it. But this is the Gamo Wildcat Whisperer, posed platinum pellets, 100 feet a second with platinum pellets. The lead pellets, I don't know, I guess probably around 900, 1,000 feet, something like that. I hadn't got no chronograph, but that's what it is there. But this one, first trouble I had out of it, it started to set in when I first got it and put the scope on it out the box. And I put it on there, lined everything up, tightened down all the screws, and after, I don't know, 20 shots, I got it pretty much set in with 10 shots. But that was at 20 yards though. That day I was shooting 26. And the scope started backing up on it. And I checked and the screws was loose. And after about 20 shots, so I tightened them back down, started resetting it again, zeroing it in, and it started shooting off all of a sudden, shooting all over the paper. I checked and the screws was loose again on the scope rings. But it was a little simple 4-power scope that come with it in there, and you couldn't see that good out of it. It didn't have a good clear view anyhow, especially if you got in the shady area. So, but anyhow, I made do with it, and finally I had to tighten all the screws down good and Loctite the screws. I put some of the blue Loctite on them to hold them to where they wouldn't loosen up, because these guns have a lot of vibration, because they have what they call I just went online and I just kept looking up different things and stuff over the last year, and they have a double recoil. And to go along with the double recoil, there's a lot of vibration too after it does the recoil. It has a shaking to it, vibration. But these break barrel air rifles, this one's by Gamo, and this is the 177 caliber. They make them also. I know Gamo makes them in 22 caliber also. 22 caliber, I would imagine, what got more of what we call, around here, knockdown power, a little bit more punch to it when it hits on maybe a rabbit or a coon or something like that. But the 177, I got hit because they so plentiful, and I was just getting something just to take some squirrels and stuff. But from what I see, they say that the 22 caliber is great on squirrels and stuff. And probably with the wind, it'll probably hold against the wind better than could. These 177s, a gnat can fly by and fart, and it'll blow that pellet off course. Anyhow, but I'll break it down in the middle. I'm sure most of you know how to break down. Just the barrel breaks down. I break it loose and show you how it breaks down, but I'm filming by myself, so. But the barrel just breaks in the middle there. All you got to do is pull it on down to cock it, but always keep my fingers away from when and I'll keep my hand on it too when I got it broke open, to put that pellet in there where it won't accidentally hit that trigger. It's got a safety feature here that put it back on safety, forward on fire. And I always try to make sure I got that safety down whenever I'm putting another pellet in. And it's also, they have a set screw under here that you can set the second stage of the trigger pull when you want the trigger to release. But they are harsh on scopes, but this is just an old scope I had that I was put on here for the time being, because with that double recoil, some people I've seen says it slams when you pull the trigger, that it comes back with the recoil before that piston takes off forward and slams against the end to send that pellet off. And then other people say it slams forward and then back. I'm not getting that argument or nothing. I just know it has a double recoil and will shake everything loose in these scopes and on these scopes. And I don't want to go spend $200 or $300 on a scope for an air rifle. So what I'm gonna try to do, I see that Diana makes what they call a bullseye rail. Did a bullseye mount that'll fit on here, and the scope will slide back and forth when the rifle goes off. It has a spring in that mount that will allow the scope to go back and forth to reduce the recoil from putting so much recoil on the scope. And that's what I'm gonna try to invest in probably after Christmas and get one of those, because these things do, I mean, you can imagine that piston going forward and coming to a dead stop at the end of the shaft there, but you got vibration going on before that pellet even leaves that barrel. So that's where the accuracy problems come in and hit and these turrets and these scopes a lot of times don't settle the same place. It messes the turrets up in there, and they don't settle back in the same place all the time, so then you're shooting all over the paper. I see some people say that to get a one-piece mount, and that'll help with the accuracy with the rifle and stuff or scope. But I'm gonna go ahead and try the bullseye mount by Diana once I get it ordered. And only thing I'm worried about is with that scope traveling back and forth on that rail, is with the accuracy, is it could settle back pretty much in the same spot every time to where it's holding its accuracy. Because that's one of the problems I'm having now. I get like this scope here, I get it set in, I'm liable to come back and shoot it a few days later and liable to be shooting somewhere different. And I ain't want to have to, every time before I go hunting, be out resetting the scope. But so far it's doing okay. It's just a little cheap Simmons scope, 3x9, about 32. But it's an old scope that I had laying around. I was just putting it on there because, like I say, the other scope I couldn't see through it that good, and it was jumping all over the target. But eventually that and there, this could be doing the same thing. And you might notice I got the wifey's dishcloth under there. These guns like to be on something soft or cradled in something. I'm trying to, sometimes I'll try the artillery hold, and sometimes I'll just hold it, but I don't try to hold it tight. I just put my hands up there around the forearm and just kind of cradle it. Not even my high-powered rifles I hold tight. And I don't pull it back tight against my shoulder. I just kind of try to let the gun do the work. I'm just trying to explain some of the things. I say so many things about these guns and so much stuff to help with the accuracy and try to keep it on target. To try to remember everything to explain, and I'm still learning. But I guess we'll learn together. As I find out things, I'll let you know and try to keep you up with what I find out. But I wouldn't dare put my scope on there off of my 300 Win mag. It's a high impact scope, but sooner or later with that double recoil on these breakback arrow rifles, it would have stuff loosened up on the inside of the scope or be broke something in the scope or something. So that's why I was wanting to try and go with that bullseye mount. But from what I see on there for the air guns from Gamo, some of them from 2020, I don't know about how many of them that they are, but the Swarm Fusion, I think that they started making hit with a mount to put on there that already has a recoil reducer that's for the gun now. So you can check into it, look through the different Gamo guns and check the Swarm Fusion. But there's so many different brands of guns out there, pellet rifles with so many different versions. You just have to check through them and pick something that you want. But I know that the Swarm, I was watching it earlier this week, and it says it already comes with a mount that's supposed to reduce that recoil from messing up scopes and stuff so bad. I think some of them that Gamo's got out now is the Swarm Fusion, but they got a 10-shot clip that you don't have to put just one single pellet and then break the barrel every time. You just have to break the barrel and cock it. And there's a 10-round clip that fits down in there that they have built for it, and you can shoot up to 10 times without having to put a pellet in there every time you break the barrel. But I tell you, they're building these pellet guns more and more sophisticated, more and more accurate, more and more powerful. Yeah, I seen the Gamo Recon. They still have a Whisper. They got a Whisper Fusion. So, but then I know Diana has breakback pellet rifles, and just so many of them out there. You just have to pick what you want, but check into them, read up on them. But I can tell you from experience though, that the pellets make a difference. Or it does in my gun. I don't know about all guns, but you try different types of pellets, because some of them in my gun will shoot a tighter pattern. Some of them will shoot all over that paper, and some of them will put it all around the bullseye and in the bullseye at times. But today the pointed pellets is the one I set in with. I didn't try the Gamo Hunter, but last year the Gamo Hunter was the ones that shot so good in there. But the scope also was messing up last year that I had on there. And the Gamo Magnum shot okay yesterday in that wind. But the day when it was calm, they wasn't holding as good a pattern as that Crossman pointed. And the red fire seems to hold a good tight grouping, but I didn't get to them today. I didn't set it in with them, but I just keep trying different things. And now the Destroyer, they kind of had a wider grouping. They were shooting all sometime way out around 3 or 4 inches off from one side to the other, and they wouldn't group like the Pointed was. But the Pointed was doing better today, so I went with them. Excuse me. But anyhow, they make these Gamos and different pellet rifles now in so many different calibers. I see some on there that's some 25 caliber. But I was just kind of letting you know what and all I was run into with the scope rings getting loose and having to tighten them down, because the scope would be backing up, and I'd tighten the screw rings down and it'd still be backing up. But there's a lock pin in there to stop where it mounts onto the rifle from moving back. But anyhow, once I get the probably be after the first of the year, once I get the Diana bullseye mount on there, I'll put it on there and check it for accuracy and see how it does with it, and try to bring you another video on it if we don't get some hunting footage with it later on this year. If I can run across some squirrels or some quail again. Anyhow, it's doing pretty good at 26 yards. And them 2 shots at the bottom, that may have been me pulled it down, but anyhow, that's a dead rabbit, squirrel, quail, whatever, where it was shooting at up there with them other 7. Anyhow, trying to bring you a video, give you a little update. Thanks for watching.